Okay, hi everybody. This is Daryl from Scholarship Guide. Once again, thank you everybody for attending our Scholarship Guide webinar series. And today we have a special guest uh, here to speak to you guys about living and studying in Japan. So, if you have any questions that you are very interested to know more about, what is it like being a student in Japan? What is the living standards like in Japan? And feel free to ask our guest speaker at the end of the whole webinar. So today we have with us Mr. Sakamoto Shigeki from Waseda University. So just to share a little bit more of our speaker, Sakamoto-san actually graduated also from Waseda University, and he has been working for the university for the past 20 odd years. And since 2017, he has been based in Singapore as the regional manager for the Waseda University branch office here. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Sakamoto to take over and then to share more about what is it like to study and live in Japan.
Hello, nice to meet you. And today I'm happy to share some information about how the life in Japan, what's the education in Japanese universities, and following these topics. Okay, the general life in Japan, education and university in Japan. And the last part, please allow me to explain about my university. I really love my university. So that's why I have never changed my job during my whole career for 20 years. Okay. But for the first two parts, I will try to keep the distance from the Waseda University. Yes. So before coming to Singapore, my life was totally spent in Japan. My experience living overseas is exactly started from Singapore. Before for the first year, my English was quite bad. Yeah, quite bad. Still, I'm trying to improve myself. But yes, for example, when I was walking around the Plaza Singapura in a weekend, and I found the cold storage, the signboard, but I cannot find the place, supermarket. So I asked to the passengers, excuse me, I want to go to cold storage, and no one could understand what I say. But now, yes, thanks to the old Singaporean as my teacher, English teacher, I am trying to explain about Japan today. Okay, so you might know we have 4 seasons. Okay, spring has the cherry blossoms starting from the south part to the northern part from early March to early May. And the summer, I think, compared to Singapore, much hotter in Tokyo. Like the humidity 90%. And in August, Tokyo has the average temperature around 36 to 8, very hot. Much comfortable in Singapore. And my personally favorite season is the autumn. The autumn leaf covers the whole part of Japan, and the food like the ikura, salmon, the best season to eat. And winter, from December to March or April, you can see the snow in the northern part that we cannot experience in Singapore. So you will have the lots of chance, the different sceneries, even in the same place in Japan. And talking about Tokyo, here has the blend of traditional and modern cultures, like temples like Asakusa, or on contrary, we have the skyscrapers and the Tower of Tokyo. Can you see in the middle, the Gundam, okay, Gundam in Yokohama. He cannot fly, but just can walk. Of course, the sweets and sushi, all are the authentic and as a local food, much cheaper than Singapore. One of the good thing is if you study in Japan, just 1 hour time difference between Singapore. So if you are at 9 p.m. in Japan, you can easily contact your friends, family, and boyfriends or girlfriends in Singapore. But in the other countries like UK and the America, quite different time slots. Maybe Australia, the path is exactly same as Singapore time slot, time zone. Tokyo, very safe, the number 1. Even for the best student city ranking, second ranked. Please guess which city is the number 1? London. Okay. The second biggest city in Japan is Osaka. Osaka is also ranked, evaluated high for the student life. I'm sorry, I've never lived other than Tokyo, so please allow to focus on Tokyo. And this is the simplified map. So from 2 international airports, the Haneda and Narita, you can just, within 1 hour of transportation, arrive to the CBD, central of the business district. And along with the Waseda in Shinjuku, can you find the Yakun? Okay, in Shinjuku, in Tokyo, the Yakun has 2 branches. One is in Shinjuku, another in the Ginza. Also, the pork jerky available. Those are, yes, authentic, but a bit expensive in Japan. Talking about food, let's compare the pricing between Singapore and Japan. I selected 2 cases. The ramen restaurant, Aipudo, okay, Aipudo. In Singapore, very, very expensive, but in Japan, very cheap. The gyudon famous restaurant is Wainoya, Yoshinoya. Yeah, almost the Hoka price in Japan. But the Waikun Kaya toast, yes, very food for rich person in Japan. Okay, so it means the local food is cheaper in everywhere, and the ethnic in specific area, country is of course more expensive than the local price. But still, you can keep in touch with the Kaya toast in Tokyo. The accommodation in Tokyo, has the highest price range for the accommodation among Japan. Very, very compact unit, just 200 square feet. But the pricing, how do you think? 850 Singapore dollars per month, near to Shinjuku area. So in my view, as a foreigner in Singapore accommodation is very expensive than Tokyo. And the off-campus, your daily life in Japan. I picked up 2 samples. The one is the Mitaka. Mitaka is the city in Tokyo. Mitaka's International Society of Hospitality. This organization provides many information, also the opportunity for the gathering, networking. Japanese lounge you can learn the Japanese and English language. Please be a teacher for Japanese people. That kind of networking and gathering will be provided around any place in Japan. Okay. Another sample is the Tokyo intercultural portal site I found. Japan, unfortunately, we often face the earthquake. So here you can find useful information for disasters. So as long as you live inside the land, you will never face the tsunami. So yes, don't worry too much. Even here, Singapore is super safe. But now Japan welcomes many foreign residents. So immediate information for those kind of disasters will be provided immediately. Don't worry. This is from Singaporean who graduate from Japanese university and go back to Singapore, and they have the association. So they are very happy to support you study in Japan, and every year they are organizing the pre-departure session before you leave Singapore. Okay. Please check this website, and you may ask anything about study in Japan from the Singaporean point of view. Another organization, association is in Japan, the Singapore Currently Students Association. I checked the website before this presentation. There are so many information about what to prepare before you study in Japan, like how to acquire the visa application, like that, how to get the mobile phones, yes, from a Singaporean point of view. Now, let's go to the second topic. Yes, when I did a survey on the tendency, which country Singaporean go for their higher education, the most popular is the Australia, and UK, US follows, and the kind of the brother country, the Malay, also more popular choice. Japan only 9th popular. Okay, but in other words, I think once you study in Japan, go back to Singapore, you will find many Japanese companies and food and beverage. Also, it means you have a wider choice of your career, not only for the local companies, Western companies also have a chance to work for Japanese company in Singapore. And even you cannot speak Japanese after graduation, you will know how Japanese people think, how behave, you will know. Yeah, it's the benefit. The comparison between Singapore and Japan, the general educational curriculums. Japan, the compulsory education for total 9 years, the primary 6, junior high, like the secondary school in Singapore, 3 years. And 85% of the junior high school graduate go up to senior high schools. Senior high schools like junior college or international schools, grade 10 to 12. And 60% of the graduate will go up to university. I think it's not high compared to Australia, Korea. Maybe 95% of them go up to university. So 60% is not high. What I want to share here is, as long as you have 12 years of education before you go to Japanese university, that you meet the basic qualification to apply for university in Japan. Please don't surprise. Japanese universities in total almost 800. And specifically, the private universities over 600, including my university. It's quite different from other countries, like Singapore, Indonesia, yes. So, of course, the national university has the higher reputation, roughly, I can say. But in Japan, private university has their different position and uniqueness and the different educational policies. That's why we coexist between national, public, and private universities. And the national universities' tuitions are, yeah, of course, lower than private universities. But if compared with the US, UK, already it is kind of the scholarships for everyone. I hope you take these slide pictures and share with your parents tonight. Yeah, parents might be happy to see this information. And this is the estimation of the living expense per month. Yeah, a bit expensive than stay in Singapore, but yes, still affordable, I think. Another benefit for the student. This is just a sample between Waseda's dormitory to the campus. If you buy a commuter pass per month, much more reasonable. Also, you are allowed to have a part-time opportunity under student visa status up to this hour. And if you work hard, you will earn 1,300 per month. But I can advise, please prioritize your study first. And of course, during the school breaks, you're allowed to work longer than the school period. So don't worry too much on the cost in Japan. If I share about how Japanese universities are internationalized or globalized, open to the English-speaking students, okay, the government Ministry of Education launched their project in 2008, yes, to receive more international students. So these 13 universities, 7 from national, 6 from private universities, their proposal for their globalization English program launch is accepted by government. So in other words, these 13 universities are kind of the leading university for the globalization from Japan. Yeah, that's all for the first two parts. And now please allow to show some tips about Waseda University. First, let me share the video.
Hi, thanks for checking out Waseda. I'll tell you about it in just 3.5 minutes. Let's go. First of all, Waseda is in central Tokyo. What draws people to Tokyo? Well, there are historic landmarks and buildings, and vibrant city life, convenient public transportation, and great food. Tokyo has a lot to offer. Also, safety is part of the reason why Tokyo is rated the world's most livable city. And it's full of friendly, helpful people. Now, about the Waseda community. Waseda has over 8,000 international students, the largest number in Japan. Let's meet some students.
I think the most delicious thing to eat in Japan is shabu shabu.
はい、今一番楽しい授業はフィルムスタディスという授業です。It's too easy to get lost in the train station.
僕は柔道をやってみますよ。
Pretty diverse, right? We offer 56 degree programs taught in English and over 3,000 English language courses. Let's look in on a class. Tell us about Waseda.
In my school at Waseda, we not only study international issues, we're an international group, a very friendly international group, and it's a lot of fun for both the students and the teacher.
Waseda has partnerships with 800 institutions in over 90 countries and regions. It's way too many for me to name. We're definitely global. Waseda is one of the top schools in Japan for employability. Our graduates are in high demand. Lots of international alumni work in Japan and around the world, creating a strong global alumni network. That's a big help when looking for jobs and internships. And for fun, join a club. We've got over 1,000. I think our clubs are some of the most active in the world. At Waseda, you can make friends for a lifetime. We'd love for you to join us at Waseda. Did you enjoy the video? For more information, visit the Why Waseda website. It's in 13 different languages. Hope to see you here!
Sorry, mistakenly. これか。はい。Thank you for watching the video to show the campus atmosphere. Now, briefly explain about our English programs. The left-hand side, the humanity or sociology, the School of Political Science and Economics. This school recognized as top school at Waseda. You can study either politics, economics, or hybrid global political economy. And the social sciences here focus on the social innovation programs for the English students. And similar to the Yale NUS, the SILS, School of International Liberal Studies, you can study the liberal arts. And here, 30% of students are the international students. Other 70% at SILS, they must study all the courses in English because there's no courses conducted in Japanese under the major. The bottom one, the Culture, Media, and Society, is the Japanese culture program. If you are into pop culture like Naruto, Jujutsu Kaisen, yes, you can consider the here. Please don't misunderstand. We will never teaching the drawing skills for the comic. More for the academic point of view, you can study about culture, pop cultures. 3 science schools we have: fundamental, creative, advanced. Total 7 majors open to English students. math, computer science, mechanical engineering, that including the robotics. Next one, like the city planning, and physics, chemistry, and bioscience. You can, yes, study in English. Apart from the majors which totally conducted in English, you have a chance to study Japanese language. The Center for Japanese Language offers the university-wide opportunity to study Japanese. From top level 8, that targeting the students who want to write the research paper in Japanese, and in the middle levels, reading Japanese newspaper, not the Straits Times. And the most basic one is the Zero Beginner Japanese, which provides the survival Japanese. You can survive with that. And all the course fees for the Japanese, inclusive of the regular tuition, no additional cost. Many Singaporean asking me about how many Singaporean at Waseda. I think this is one of the biggest party in Japan as one university. So during 4 years at university, you have a chance to study overseas from Japan to the world. Okay, like the Columbia, Yale, and Chicago, Cambridge, Oxford. We have the exchange agreement, both exemption the tuition at the counterpart university. Okay, and Singapore, we have these agreement, NUS, NTU, SMU, and with NUS, especially SIRS has the individual agreement for the double degree bachelor program. So I'm happy to share this information that Mr. Lee Kuan Yew came to Waseda University that to receive our honorary doctoral degrees in 2003. Yes, it was Waseda's honor more than his honor. So thank you very much, Lee Kuan Yew-san, to receive our offer. Happy, yeah. Other famous alumni from Waseda, like welcome to UNIQLO, the president of UNIQLO, and the Haruki Murakami, the most famous Japanese alumni. And I think girl students more knows Mr. Hanyu Yuzuru more than me. Okay, they are all Waseda's alumni. Yeah, already video showed our graduate employability are very high. If compared with the National University of Singapore, they, yeah, if I'm correct, they are ranked around 27 to 29. So a bit lower than NUS, but we are still high in the world. No bond. You can freely find your job after graduation in every part of the world. And I think the national service is the concern for the Singaporean and the PR boys here. Waseda consider 2 years exemption of the whole tuition and fees. Just keep the sheet for you without any fees. What you need during 2 years is 2 years has the 4 semester at Waseda. Each semester, beginning of the semester, please submit the leave of absence, the format only. That's all. I want to show the Waseda student, younger alumni, ex-students they are, yes, energetically working out of campus. They have a passion, yeah, for their future. So some startup founder, very busy and finally did withdraw from Waseda. But still, the point is all of them, yeah, wanted to study at Waseda. Last part, thank you for, yes, joining here. What do you need for application to Waseda is submitting all materials here by online uploading. That's all. Then by the documentary screening, you will receive the final result of admission. We accept the Singapore A-levels like that. You don't have to take SAT, ACT, yeah, no TOEFL, just this A-level alone, you can apply. Some school you need to show the specific subject scores, like the math, physics, and chemistry for the engineering department. The good news, predicted scores accepted. Once accepted with the predicted scores, we will never chase your final scores, okay? So that's why you can apply with the predicted scores, then get admitted, go to the national service, after finish the exercise, go to Japan, yes, to study. Yeah, same combination of the required subjects to specific department, same as A-levels, and predict scores for the IB accepted. That's all. Let's get a Shiok experience in Japan. Thank you very much to listen.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sakamoto, for sharing so much about Japan and Waseda. So right now we will open the floor to questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to type into the chat box, and I will serve as a moderator, and I'll ask Sakamoto-san about the questions that you have. Maybe just to get the ball rolling, maybe one of the questions, because you have been interacting with many foreign students, especially from Singapore, maybe what is the number one thing number one question that Singapore students always have for you when they are considering to study in Japan?
The language is one of the most biggest concern for Singaporean, right?
So, I mean, it's very good that you do not need to understand, or you don't need to speak Japanese to actually study in Waseda University, right?
No need, no need.
Okay. So we have a question from one of the participants. So the question is that Waseda has a partnership with the University of Melbourne. So could you share more about the partnership with the University of Melbourne, and are there any opportunities about that?
Okay, so that's specific to the information about the Melbourne University as a whole. If you apply to the exchange program, you will go to the, for example, Melbourne University's half or full year, okay? And once you complete the credits at the Melbourne universities, you can transfer the credits to the Waseda University. And the timing of the application for the exchange opportunity is just after you enter to Waseda University. At the moment of the application, you don't have to worry about the exchange application. Is it enough?
Yeah, so if you have any, if you want more clarification with the questions, you can just feel free to let us know in the chat box as well. Yes, so for this entire recording of the webinar, as well as the slides, it will be available on our website. So it'll probably be up on our website by tomorrow. So you can review, or you can share with your friends if they are unable to join us today for this session. So I have another question from another student. The student is planning to study in Japan with the MEXT scholarship, MEXT scholarship, but it says that the scholarship can only choose national universities. So is Waseda actually an applicable option for students who want to study under the MEXT scholarship?
Yeah, the good question. Yeah, unfortunately, we are the private universities, so at the undergraduate programs applicable only to the national universities. But if you study at the master's degree, you can study at Waseda under the mixed scholarships program. So at the moment, yeah, you need to consider the which is better, the mixed scholarships and the study at the national universities. On the other hand, Waseda University has lots of scholarships which provided to international students. That is more than for the domestic students.
Yeah, so you guys can definitely consider looking through some of the scholarship offerings from Waseda University, because I think the very attractive part of all those scholarships available is because it is bond free, so you don't have to serve a bond in Japan or in Singapore. We can just graduate and move on. So yeah, usually our webinar participants ask very good and very interesting questions that definitely challenge our speakers. So I have another question here, is that what are the international student ratio count in Waseda compared to other universities? So like the amount of foreign students to local students in Waseda.
Okay. The international students at Waseda, 8,350 last year. The whole students, including international students, 49,000. So the ratio of the international students is 17%. I think good ratio.
Yeah, that's a very good ratio. So you get a very well mix of students, be it local or foreign. So I have another question here. What is the A-level average or cutoff points for entering the School of Politics and Economics in Waseda? Specific.
I'm so sorry. I'm in the front and just advertising, not operating the screening process. So the only I can share from the other examination for your guessing. Let me share the screen. can you see this data? So it is complicated for showing the average of the A levels, but please guess from these other examination result. Okay, for the SAT applicants, the average of successful applicants last year was this data, this figure. And IBDP, the full score, is the 45. Here, just subject scores only is disclosed. So the bonus point is excluded from these average scores. So can you guess from this data?
Yeah, I think it's good that we can take reference from this data. So just to reiterate again for those who might not have heard me earlier, this entire video recording as well as all these slides from the presentation will be available on the Scholarship Guide's website. So you guys can take a closer look later when we end this webinar session.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking about admission, we have another student asking if you guys accept poly diploma to study in Waseda.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm sorry to say that the polytechnics transcript alone is not accepted. So please consider to take the ACT or SAT, EDU, like that kind of other examination to meet the standardized test scores here, the second from the bottom. The academic transcript, the polytechnics transcript meets, but the standardized test scores you need to additionally take by your own registration, taking exam.
So if any polytechnic students who are interested, you definitely have to take additional tests to be, as what Sakamoto-san has said, for the standardized test scores.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm so sorry. Yeah, for the inconvenience. Inconvenience.
Is there any entrance exam for the master's program at Waseda University?
Oh, masters. Masters. Yes. We have 13 master's program which open to the international students. Okay, so for example, the international relations, which targeting the Asia Pacific studies, so Asia Pacific region, and with the international studies or international relations. For example, yes, some Singaporean study there, I remember. And the, let me share the website. Yeah, these are available programs for the English-based, like political sciences, economics, law, LLM. Yes, the science majors more opportunity than the undergraduate majors. For the humanity field, like the sport science is one of our strong point, and the international culture and communication studies, and the Asia Pacific studies, the green one, and the, yes, or for the science, it's the information production system. Also, Waseda Business School, MBA, is very one of the top school in Japan. We have collaboration with Nanyang Business School Master's Program, double degree.
Is there any entrance exam required to take part in the master's program?
Yeah, basically the qualification, basic qualification is graduate degree programs, and the total education, total year of education, 16 years. And basically you need to submit the recommendation letter from your university professor for you, and the transcript, certificate of expected graduation or graduation certificate. Of course, the research proposal for your master's program. Yeah, and the business school, you need a GMAT score.
Okay, so I hope this answers to one of the questions that they asked. Let me see what the questions that they have. Okay, so this one is more of a scenario-based question. So student is asking he or she hopes to become a Japanese to English translator. So what would you recommend if the person wants to study at Waseda?
To be translator, we don't have the exact program for educating the translator between Japanese and English, but at university-wide, you have chance to study language courses at the center or for the Japanese language. And as long as you study the language at the CJL center, no specific program is recommended. Yes, so the common opportunity for the all Waseda students you have. But of course, if you want to think about translation of the novels or literatures, I can recommend you study at the Culture, Media and Society, or the School of Literature.
So we have one question about the scholarships being offered at Waseda. So the student is asking if the scholarships are more merit-based scholarship or need-based scholarships.
Basically, we focusing on the merit-based for the first year. Of course, you will have chance from the very beginning of the first year to receive the scholarships by the result of the admission screening result. So for example, A-level scores, the recommendation letter evaluated high for your application. It will help you receiving scholarships from the very beginning. And from second year, every year, we have the screening for scholarships. So your GPA at your belonging program school should be higher than the other students. But I can say maybe Singaporean students always higher in their performance. Okay, so I mean, not worry too much.
Yeah, I understand that actually Singapore students make up quite a big percentage of foreign students in Waseda University.
Yes, and sometimes I talk with the professor in Tokyo, and talking about the Singaporean student at Waseda, many professors evaluate high for the Singaporean students. They are leading the other students. So yes, that's the frank evaluation by professor.
Well, that's very good to know. So if we don't have any more questions, I mean, we have one question asking about other universities in Japan. But of course, today, since you're from Waseda University, I think it's better that we just focus on your university. But, if we do not have any other questions, okay, I get one more question, just got one more question in. So, do students get shorter undergraduate courses like in Singapore if they have a relevant diploma or experience?
Okay, so the early completion is possible. For example, at the School of International Liberal Studies, the shorten to 3.5 years, and Political Science Economics Department 3 years. So 1 year shorten. But this is based on the achievement after you join, not promised before you join.
Understand. I think, okay, we have another question. Would having a Japanese language proficiency test certificate be considered more favorably for scholarship application? Would that be like, any help to the scholarship application?
I cannot say surely, but some kind of the help with your Japanese scores when you apply. If you show the Japanese scores, it might help your admission itself, and accordingly might be considered on the scholarships opportunity. And especially some schools at Waseda clearly mention in the application guidelines that if you have the Japanese proficiency scores, you may attach. It means it will help you.
So I assume that if you have any extra language certifications or even like extracurricular activities, that will definitely help with the application and admission into Waseda. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah, we are Japanese university. And can I share the one question which sent directly to me via the chat box?
Yes.
To ask about during the study period at university or at Waseda, is there any chance to go back to Singapore tentatively? Yes, he or she asking me, and I want to share with you. In case of Waseda University's academic calendar, there are several long vacations. Okay, the spring semester starts in April to the late July. So the summer break starts in early August before National Day in Singapore until late September. Almost 2 months is the summer break. You can stay back to Singapore. Then the fall semester starting from late September until late January next year. And the New Year period, Japanese celebrate longer, longer than Singaporean. So maybe 10 days to 14 days, late December to the early January, you have the short period of break. After that, after fall terms ended, early February to the early April before spring semester starting, then 2 months, the spring period. You can go back to Singapore during Chinese New Year.
Oh, that's good. Well, is there actually more public holidays in Japan than in Singapore?
Yes, Japan has a lot of public holidays, more than maybe 5 or 6 days more per year.
Oh, okay. So definitely there's more time for the students to like explore around Japan and just take a break.
Yeah.
So if we don't have any more questions, I'd like to thank Sakamoto-san for taking his time off to kind of share with us more about Japan and definitely more about his university and answer all these questions from the students. Again, I like to repeat that all these recordings and the slides will be available on the Scholarship Guides website. So just make sure to go to the notice board to get the latest posts where we will update it with all this information. And once again, thank you so much, Mr. Sakamoto, for taking his time to speak to us. And thank you guys for tuning in to our webinar. Stay tuned to our website for our next upcoming webinar, which should be in early July or end July. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And ありがとうございました。